I was an interior designer. That background led me to real estate directly.
Constraints in both your design and your budget. Just click on modern and just buy modern. Click on transitional, just buy transitional.
Homes just a block away will not comp at that number.
But yes, I am an architect and the world should know.
My name is Leslie Carr. I'm the host of the Nature of Nurture podcast, and I'm here guesting on something that doesn't have a name. Let's have some fun.
I am Michael Abraham. I am one of the two stars of this
No Name podcast.
No Name Real podcast. And I have Ania here. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Ania De Pourbaix. I'm Michael's business partner at Compass and our group named AMRE Group, also known as AMRE or AMRE. Nobody knows how to say it. However, we are here I didn't know we're here for a podcast, so I'm just here.
We're all surprised to find out that we're filming a podcast episode today, so let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So how did you two originally become business partners? How did you find each other, and how did you get into this mess you call real estate?
I recognized Michael's talent, and he called me, letting me know that he had been recently licensed in real estate. Timing connected, and I popped the big question.
How did you recognize his talent?
Because I hired him in the first place for his marketing firm. So
So you originally knew him as a marketer.
Yeah.
So we've told the story a lot, but I'll tell a little bit of a different take on it. What I think is amazing is that you have to make these snap decisions in life.
Mm-hmm.
So I had reached out to Ania. We stayed in touch because she's a good realtor, and we hadn't spoken in maybe like a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I just reached out for a little bit of advice, and then we immediately, Anya calls me back, which is the way things get done. We start chatting, and within a matter of 90 minutes while I'm walking on Abercrombie, I go from not knowing who I'm going to work with, where I'm going to be, to having those decisions just decided. So let's just say 180 minutes led to 18 months of our being partners. So it's just something about that I find fascinating, is that you have to rely a lot on instincts in this world. And I felt similar in the sense that I remember how patient she was with me when I was looking to buy a home. So that was really how I had to go on. The success I had, the help she gave me, and the confidence that I had to go with my gut.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I think that in my experience, one thing that many people don't know about you is that you're also a licensed architect. It sort of feels like that's pretty, germane to what it is that you're doing these days. But it's interesting that as like kind of a multi-hyphenate person with a varied career, Ania came to you originally through your marketing background, but now it's not irrelevant that you're an architect. Is that something that you've talked about much on this show before?
I do bring it up, and I think it's important. For some reason, I don't make too much of a thing of it, only because I think it's a value add. It's not by itself going to change the game. I can walk into a property, I can identify things, but as a realtor over time, you have a pretty good sense of what walls can stay, which walls can't. The fact that I'm licensed and I actually come with credibility behind that helps. I would say that what you realize as people acquire more and more expensive real estate, they actually become quite knowledgeable in real estate. Therefore, to be able to speak to it is helpful. But yes, I am an architect and the world should know.
I personally think that it's a really interesting differentiator.
Sure.
It's not something that a lot of real estate agents bring to their knowledge and expertise. So it's interesting to me. But something that I don't know about you, Ania, did you do something before real estate that sort of informs your role here at all? Did you ever have a different job before this?
I was an interior designer. That background led me to real estate directly. Actually, I fell into real estate because I was interior designing.
Yeah.
And there was an interim where I had a career as a property manager from interior design. So all of those jobs have led me to being a real estate agent. You have to be really multifaceted. In fact, I was licensed as a real estate agent not to buy and sell properties, really, although I was performing that function for a really, really wonderful investor. I was licensed so that we could property manage legally for other people since I was already managing his properties.
Do you want to say a little bit about how you made the leap from one to the other?
We have spoken about it briefly. Really, how it went was interior designing on a small multifamily job, just making sure a project came in under budget. And there were actually people looking to lease the unit while I was working in it. And I asked the owner of the unit, what do you want me to tell these people? I don't know what, what you want to say. He said, would you like me to buy you a class? And then if you'll help me lease it, there's money in it for you. In a nutshell, that's how it started. And he had several other units.
That's so interesting. You know, as two people who are business partners with these varied backgrounds, can you say a little bit about how you collaborate as business partners? Like, is it sort of a divide and conquer thing? Is it a matching strengths and weaknesses? Like, how do you two work with each other?
I want to jump back to the architecture and interior design real quick. The amount of projects we see
Please.
that are so poorly done because they weren't executed with any concept. And that's what I've been trying to come up to. Why am I struggling when I walk into a place? There's no continuity, there's no concept. Just pick a concept and run with it.
Yeah.
And the continuity will be more valuable and more meaningful than one spot you have really nice tile, one spot you have cheap hardware. It really detracts from the overall quality of the home. So it's just something that bugs me. Therefore, I see good quality quicker than most. I've spent my career looking at designers and just identifying talent. So that's just one little thing, is that so many people get carried away trying to save a buck here or there on flooring or cabinets. And in the end, that's actually all you hold and interact with is the materials in your home.
Are you thinking or talking mostly about instances where somebody is kind of preparing a home for sale, meaning like they want to sell a house, so they're motivated to maybe rehab a couple of things, but then they start cutting corners?
In general, unfortunately, as across the board, there's a lot of trying to save a buck, but in the end, it just comes back to bite you because you're only going to renovate your kitchen once, so just do it right. It's hard for me to pinpoint the exact things that I would advise, but really just working with the interior designer, quite frankly, is going to be a small additional cost to create a much better final product.
I was reading something the other day that you guys might find interesting. I think this is the sense that I got from what I read, a bigger problem outside of cities like LA. You find it more in the middle of the country. But apparently house flipping has become such a common thing that people will buy houses with the intention of flipping them, do the necessary construction and that kind of stuff, but will either kind of cut corners because they're maybe trying to be cheap, or it's just that the style that's kind of prevalent these days is so that apparently if you go into certain parts of like the middle of the country and you're looking to sell a house, you sort of see the same prefab kind of crap over and over again, which apparently is a big source of frustration for a lot of home buyers.
Yeah.
And I wonder what you guys think about that.
As someone who personally owns property in other states, including in the middle of the country, and a person who has actually redesigned those types of places, my best advice is to consider the period of what you are recreating and make it relevant, the design. The other thing is you can definitely get the same design but on a designer budget. No, you do not need if you're redesigning a tiny duplex in the middle of the country, that's a farmhouse per se. Okay, I'm not going to use the most expensive cabinetry that has dovetailed drawers, but I'm going to use good quality. It's not going to be prefab. I'm going to use probably a more of a modern color of a cabinet. But I'll use some classic details that give homage to what the style of architecture you're actually dealing with. So there's ways to be creative on a budget. I am a huge proponent of non-prefab.
3 words come to mind. One, I forgot them, but one is consistency, quality, and continuity. Those words might be wrong. What I'm getting at is don't try to constraints. Constraints is the one word I want to talk about.
AKA budget.
Constraints in both your design and your budget. And what I mean by that is pick a lane. Just click on modern and just buy modern. Pick on transitional, just buy transitional. Right? Transitional is in between the two. And just stick to that category. Save yourself a lot of problems. Buy flooring that isn't the cheapest and just be mindful of the quality of things. And you'll go a long way. You don't need to necessarily work with somebody, but I feel like everybody's trying to make this hodgepodge. And actually, the architectural and interior design process is full of constraints. And that's deliberate. And those constraints actually empower you to make decisions and they bring things together. I think there's this element where I like this one piece, I like this one piece. Quite frankly, that's not a great strategy.
Right.
And with the internet, you can do amazing things. Type into ChatGPT, redesign this home in a modern style, and then you can hand it to somebody and just buy those. Kind of put a bow on that. It definitely is something. When I see a greatly designed home, we recently saw one that was, and this is a cool thing about LA in general, really anywhere. You can walk into any open house. There's I think it was Shaun White's house is for
Yeah.
sale. Incredible view. I wish I could recall the address. You might go see it.
Yeah.
Get inspiration. It's easy.
About that house, it actually it shows exactly what we're talking about. The bones are mid-century, which everybody loves mid-century because there's post and beam, lots of glass, lots of light. But what they did, and the position of the lot, just people when they built these mid-century homes just did a remarkable job of knowing where to place it on the lot so that the bedrooms were tucked away for privacy, the max views were saved for the living in common areas. It was perfect, but it's unique. It stood out. There's a reason it's only 2,000 square feet and going to fetch over $2,500 a square foot. And I can tell you exactly why. It was completely unique. There was not one tiny fleck of white anywhere in the house. It was moody. But it felt airy. It felt light, it felt clean, and it evoked a feeling of just simplicity while still being allowed to be quirky. Like you wouldn't, it was casual enough where, if you picked up a basket or a doodad at just a normal thrift store, you wouldn't feel bad bringing that home. You'd find a spot for it in that house. It was just really eloquently done. It's one of the favorites that I've seen, and all packed into a 2,000 square foot house. And I'll tell you, homes just a block away will not comp at that number. It's just going to be a strange comp for that.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
it was really smartly designed. It was wonderful.